Welcome to your yoga practice. So it is Monday, February 24th. Let us just look around the space that we're in, kind of scanning our environment, familiar or less familiar, just noticing what's here now. And then when you feel ready, let your gaze settle in front of you and then down a bit, maybe even closing your eyes. Let's see if we can notice the environment beneath us. So the parts of our bodies meeting the ground, the texture and temperature we might find here. Maybe you can imagine rooting down just a little more. As you root down, notice if there's a bit of lightness or lift coming up through the spine, through the chest. We can engage the core muscles a little bit to help us with this kind of dignified posture. And you might lean back in space a little, letting the index fingers and thumb tips come together in Jnana Mudra. Breathing here, I'll share the Pavamana mantra. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Vritomya Amritam Gamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May our practices bring us from that which is untrue to that which is true, from that which is impermanent to that which is never ending, from darkness to light. Peace, peace, peace. And let's notice here if we can fill in the breath just a little bit more. Taking your time with this next breath in and out. We're still sitting in a dignified posture, letting the breath flow. See if you can keep both of those actions happening while also softly scanning your body, noticing if, like me, tension is sneaking into your body. So I'm finding it in my thighs, in my shoulders, these areas that maybe we can let go just a little more. Let's stay for about 3 more breaths, staying present to everything that's here now. All right, let's go ahead and open the eyes if they've been closed. Bring the soles of your feet together, so transitioning into bound angle or Baddha Konasana. And maybe you play with a different approach than usual. So if you always have your feet maybe a foot away from you, maybe you see what it's like to bring them 2 feet away from you, or all the way in as close as they go. You can also stick with the familiar. Maybe it's familiar because it's what's best. And then we'll rock side to side, just imagining rooting down, settling down into the earth a bit more. On Mondays, we really emphasize grounding, settling in, feeling connected. And breathing. Might think like a little seedling, how the roots sprout out and dig down, shifting side to side. And then eventually come to stillness. See if the legs can get a little heavier. It's okay if the knees are still pointing up. We're just letting them get heavy so the muscles aren't working so hard. And using your hands on your ankles or shins, let's kind of pull the heart up, forwards, and then start to lean forwards and down. But let's keep extending the spine. So drawing the shoulder blades together, maybe even lifting your chin so you're getting a stretch on the front of your throat. And breathing, slowly explore dropping your chin towards your chest. And notice if you feel sensations change in other parts of your body. Then with your chin towards your chest, let's start to draw the navel back towards the spine. Let the shoulder blades slide away from each other. So now we're kind of caving in our front body, rounding the back body. Notice where you're feeling sensations and see if you can put some words to it. Like, does it feel tingly, sparkly, strained? And then let's bring our spine back through neutral, back into extension. So drawing the heart forward, using your hands as leverage on your ankles or legs. Pull the heart up, maybe lift your chin, maybe lift your face to the sky. Big breath in. And exhale. 2 more times, taking a sigh. All right. Go ahead and release that effort. Shake it out if you want, and we'll come into tabletop. As we get into tabletop, hands and knees, let's drop the chest towards the ground so shoulders slide together, and then push the ground away, shoulders slide apart. Do this a couple of times. Good. And then we'll end with really pushing the ground away. So the shoulders are kind of sliding apart. Go ahead and engage your core like you're lifting your spine up to the sky. Keep doing that until you end up arching up into cat pose. Let the head get heavy. And breathe here a couple breaths, staying stagnant in or static in cat pose. On your next exhale, slowly release that effort. Let the belly drop down, pelvis tilting, lifting your gaze, taking a couple of breaths in cow pose. Remembering this is totally your time, so if anything I offer doesn't feel quite right, you just modify and find a way to move in a way that works for you. And then come back through neutral. I definitely thought to say that because my low back was not sure how she felt about it. So let's arch up into cat pose again. Inhale here. Exhale here. Next inhale, drop your belly. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, Pittalasana. Exhale, cat, Marjayasana. Keep moving with this and see if you can give just a little awareness to your wrists and hands. We tend to just kind of dump weight into our wrists or the heel of our hands. Let's try to protect them by really gripping through the fingertips, through the roots of your knuckles while you're flexing your spine. If that doesn't do it, you can also walk your hands forward a couple of inches or even come to fists. Just a few more cycles of breath here in cow and cat. And when you're ready, let's press the hips back and down into Balasana, child's pose. Breathing. You can keep your arms upstretched overhead if that feels okay to your shoulders. Another option is to bend the elbows and rest your head on the forearms, or to bring your hands back by your feet. Find a way that this shape is comfortable enough. If you're one of those folks who it just never feels good, you could also sit up. Do anything that lets you just settle back in, noticing your breath. Giving yourself a few breaths to, well, first, just in case my mic is picking up those first responders, we can just express a bit of gratitude for living in a society that has such things available. There's people who commit their lives to taking action, helping others. Okay, now we can turn into ourselves. So giving yourself a few breaths in child's pose or at rest of reconnecting with your why. What brings you to practice? It can be a little why or a big why, maybe an ever-evolving and changing why. And then give yourself a breath or two of acknowledgement that you are here now, you are doing it, you are taking care of yourself. Knowing that this time is valuable. One more breath. And then we'll come up through tabletop. Let's tuck the toes, lift the knees off of the ground, passing through plank pose for an inhale. Really push back through your heels. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So lifting your hips, pressing your chest towards your legs. Encourage some movement here, swaying the hips side to side. Maybe shake out your head a little bit. The poses never have to look perfect. As long as they feel okay, then they're good enough. So maybe we bring the hands out a little wider, maybe rotate them so the fingers point out a little more. And let's slowly start stepping our feet up to meet our hands into Uttanasana, forward fold. Hanging heavy here. We can bring the feet out wider to make more space for our torso and bellies. We can also bring our hands to that soft tissue of the belly and scoop it out to the sides. That can feel really nice. Hanging for a couple more breaths. Maybe you like to grab opposite elbows. Sway a little. Maybe another couple sighs. All right, let's release our arms if you grabbed them, and see about sliding your hands, palms up under your feet so that your toes can massage your wrists and the heel of your hands. And then see about lifting up halfway. We won't make it there, but just kind of make the action of lifting halfway so we're getting a little bit of traction on the arms and shoulders. Stretching through the hamstrings, backs of the legs. One more breath. And soften the knees, fold back down, release your hands. You can give the wrists a shake. And on an inhale, push your feet into the ground as you lift up halfway. Engage your core, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You can sweep the arms back in space and look ahead. And on an exhale, fold down, softening the knees again if that feels nice. Inhale, lift up halfway, sweep your arms out wide like an airplane, look ahead. Exhale, fold down. Next, inhale, lift up halfway. See about stretching your arms in front of you, like you're reaching, and then fold down. Next, inhale, rise all the way up, reaching out and up to the sky, big stretch. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Put a little bend in your knees, so kind of like chair pose. Inhale, reach up, come up to your toes. See how that is. Exhale, feet on the earth, hands down through heart center, coming back into a little chair. Do that a few more times. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, coming into a little chair, a little squat. Couple more times. You can always move with your own breath more than with my words. You don't have to be perfectly synchronized. Good. One more time, reach up. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. Notice if you're feeling steady or wobbly. And we can just let it be what it is. And then feet on the earth, let your arms sweep out wide really slowly all the way down. Stand tall for a couple breaths. Really imagine your feet rooting down into the ground. You can keep your toes light. See if you can lift your kneecaps by engaging your quadriceps. Lengthen your low back by engaging your core muscles. Lift the heart, soften the shoulders back and down. Maybe pull the chin back in space just a little bit. So imagining ears over shoulders, over hips, over knees, over feet. And then keep all of this engagement, all of this intention, and we'll stretch our arms out in front of us like a sleepwalker, or maybe stop in the name of love. I like that better. So pushing your hands forward, pressing your feet into the ground, engaging your core. We are in plank pose, just flipped a different perspective. One more inhale here. Exhale, let your arms soften down by your sides. Core still engaged. Inhale, reach out and up. Maybe look up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift up halfway. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, fold down, planting your hands on the ground or using blocks. Step your right foot straight back in space. Press the right heel back. Pull the heart forward. Imagine pushing your left foot into the ground a little more, so maybe we get a little buoyancy or lift. Good. Let's see if we can engage our core and lift the hands off of the blocks or ground. So we're still hovering low. And then see about stretching the arms all the way up to the sky. If we're feeling a little too wobbly today, we can drop the right knee to the ground. We can also plant the right foot. So whichever version you are in, we're getting a big stretch through the front of the right thigh. Stretching the arms up, we might even sense that stretch moving into our abdominal muscles. Maybe you're feeling it a little somewhere else. Big inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands all the way to the blocks or ground. Next inhale, left arm reaches to the sky, taking a twist. Keep pushing your left foot into the ground. You might even explore straightening that left leg for a moment. And then bending it again. Left hand comes to the ground. Step yourself back to plank pose, remembering our mountain pose. We're just in that, but now our hands are carrying the weight. So lighten the wrists, push back through your heels, engage your core. You can always drop your knees. Take another breath in and exhale, lower all the way down. Point your toes back. Inhale, find a little cobra pose. Roll the shoulders back and together. Tops of your feet can press into the ground. I like to bring my legs and feet out a little wider. Just seems to create more space for the low back. Maybe you even lift your hands off of the ground. We'll stay for another 3, 2, and lower down. Tuck your toes. Let's push up through tabletop. Pause for a second here, and imagining you have a tail, slowly wave it side to side. So we're just bringing in a little lateral flexion through the spine. All right, then toes tucked, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. If you're in the mood for a flow through chaturanga and that's familiar, you can do it anytime. You can also always take a break. You can hang out here for about 5 more breaths. You've got lots of options, so take care of yourself. We're in downward facing dog again. We're trying to lighten the wrists. Let the head be really heavy. Maybe even put some space between your teeth. Engage your core, pressing the chest towards the thighs, feeling the heels stretch down towards the ground. It's okay if they don't meet the ground. It depends on our bones. They might never, so we won't judge them. Okay. As you feel ready from down dog, let's inhale and lift the right leg any amount to the sky. Look forward between your hands on an exhale, step or swing your right foot to the top of the mat. Whatever it takes to get there. If you like using blocks, you can go ahead and bring them under your hands. If you feel like you need more space for your belly, you can just scoot the right foot out to the right side. We can always accommodate ourselves. Then we'll push back through the left heel, pull forward through the heart and gaze. Push your right foot into the ground, and maybe here we start to lighten the hands. Oh, perfect timing, so we could pet a cat. All right. And then maybe stretch your arms up to the sky. Breathing. Make any adjustments necessary. So that could be dropping the left knee, could be planting the left foot, or you might be staying on the ball of the left foot. Either way, we're getting a nice stretch through the front line of the body, especially the left thigh. Good, yep. Another big breath in, reach up as much as you can. And then exhale, hands down to ground or blocks. Next inhale, reach your right arm up, taking a twist. Maybe play with straightening your right leg and bending it again if you did. On an exhale, return to face forward, right hand on the ground. Inhale, step your left foot up to meet the right. Exhale, fold down. Sink your hips low, and then inhale, lifting your chest and your arms. Utkatasana chair pose for 3, 2, and stand up tall. Pause for a few breaths and just notice the effects of this effort that we're making on a Monday morning. How's the body feeling? How is your breath moving? What's your inner state like? And then noticing your feet on the ground, root them down. Inhale, stretch your arms out and up, looking up if you can. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift up halfway, your favorite version. Exhale, fold down, hands touching blocks or ground. Step your left foot back. This time let's pivot the heel down, rise up to warrior 2. And we'll take just a few breaths here. So in warrior 2, loosely heel to arch alignment, bending into your right knee. I know I've dropped a lot of alignment cues since doing the functional yoga training, but I do still let's look down and see if we can get that right big toe on the inside of the right knee. And that's just engaging our gluteal muscles. Good. And we'll straighten the right leg, hinge to the right, and pass through Trikonasana. So lowering your right hand to your right shin or grabbing a block, looking up to the sky, just a breath in. And bend your right knee as you exhale, pivot to face forward through your lunge. Step yourself back to plank pose. Knees up or down, either way, engage that core. Imagine lifting your spine to the sky, lightening your wrists. One more inhale. And on your exhale, lower all the way down, rolling over the thighs to the belly. Point your toes back and then press the tops of the feet into the ground. As you inhale, see about lifting your heart, Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. You can lift your hands off of the ground, or if you want, push your hands into the ground, lifting your chest higher. Another inhale. And exhale, lower down, tuck your toes, press yourself up, pause for a breath or two in tabletop. Give yourself that lateral flexion, shifting the hips side to side. Good. And then downward facing dog. If you wanted to flow through chaturanga, you can. If you want to take a water break, you can. Otherwise, we will stay here for a few breaths. So we're pushing the ground away through the hands so energetically that the shoulders just naturally slide up towards the ears. Let the head get really heavy, jaw slack, breath full. Engaging the core. Imagine your inner thighs spiraling towards each other and back. Pressing your heels towards the ground. And from down dog, carefully lift your left foot towards the sky, any amount, look forward. Exhale, step or swing your left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel pivots down, cartwheel your arms up, Virabhadrasana 2 on the other side, warrior 2. So you can look and see heel to arch, you can look and see your left big toe on the inside of your left knee. Arms outstretched, full breath. Next inhale, let's push the left foot into the ground to straighten the left leg. Exhale, hinge to the left, then lower your left hand to the shin. Inhale, reaching your right arm up, looking up, and then bending your left knee. Exhale, we'll pivot to face forward, back into our lunge. Inhale, step the right foot up. Exhale, fold down, forward fold. Sink your hips low. Inhale, sweep your arms forwards and upwards. Utkatasana chair pose for 3, 2, 1. Stand up tall. Taking a couple of breaths here. Still standing with effort, so we're still in a firm mountain pose. Feet rooting down, legs engaged, core engaged, heart lifted. Ready for the week ahead. Give yourself one more breath. And then still standing upright, let's release the effort. So going from mountain pose to like standing in line at the grocery store. Notice the difference. Maybe you automatically shifted your weight into one leg or just slouched. And then we'll return to mountain pose, so kind of transforming from our everyday self to our yogi self. And then softening again, just noticing how the body, kind of how it changes. One more time, find yourself firmly into mountain pose. Bring your hands together at your heart, offer yourself a little bow. All right, and let's come on down to our mats. So coming onto your spine, rolling it out. Let's keep the feet on the ground. Open your arms out wide as your space allows. You can always bend the elbows. With your feet on the earth, let your knees fall over to the left side. Right hip lifting off of the ground. So here our torso's twisted to the right. You could look over your right arm, taking a breath in and out. And breathing, let's come back to center with the legs. On your next out breath, let the legs fall over to the right side. You could look over your left shoulder. Taking a breath or two here, letting that left hip lift off of the ground, stretching through your torso and spine. And come back to center. Slowly stretch your legs long on the ground. Bring your arms by your sides, but give yourself some space so you can imagine energy or air could move around your underarms. Letting your body rest. If there's a different shape that your body is happier in, give that to yourself. We'll be here for just a moment. And for this moment, can you practice letting yourself be with just the truth of what is here now? Is there anything that could soften? You're welcome to take this next breath in nice and slow for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2. Full breath in. Out through the lips. One more at your own pace. Releasing your practice, and when you're ready, you can make your way up to an easy seat. And if you'd like to close this time together, we can draw our hands together at our heart, again acknowledging our efforts. And if you want to chant Om or take another sigh out, let's create some vibration in our bodies. Big breath in. And deep bow of gratitude to you for sharing your time and energies. Gratitude to the ancient teachers and teachings for these practices. I hope you have a beautiful day ahead of you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.